appreciate that. You had more?
I do on quite a few other items, but I just picked that one to begin with. Do you want me to keep going? Or do we maybe let others speak and then I'll come back in?
Councillor Egan. Okay, Councillor Egan.
Yeah, just going through this, I understand what you're saying, Councillor Turney, and I agree that it's going to be a tough bite for all of us to swallow. I'm just looking over these metered water rates, and it says metered water rates. Now, I was told for my particular business 5 years ago that we all had to go on as a commercial business, we have to be on metered water rates, and now I see that there's some businesses that still aren't, and their increases are far less. So I have a particular conflict with that. So I would like to know why that it's so much less for non-metered commercial rates than it is for metered rates charging. But anyways, as far as everybody in general, our general public, it is going to be a hard bite to swallow. But the previous councils haven't done anything about this, so we have to start somewhere.
Councillor Hogan.
That's not true.
Yep. Councillor Achart.
Well, regardless of what previous councils did or didn't do, we're responsible for what's happening today, and we're also responsible for making a plan going forward, for making sure that we still have access to reserves to match any grant funding that we have in the future. And as far as businesses, all the commercial businesses are on meters and have a different billing than what we have for residential. Well, anyway, as I was saying, we have to make a plan going for these increases. And my question was on the single family residential on the revised solid face the fees and charges for single family at $299. Is that the semi-annual rate or is that the annual? I'm guessing that must be what's in here is the semi-annual at $299, because I see on the 2016 bylaws and fees it was $136 on our website, and I see in here it says $299.82.
That is the adjusted rate, and that's the full year.
The $299 is the full year?
It's the full year, yeah.
No,
it's not the semi-annual.
Okay, because
these are presented as the full year, and then they will be broken into payment schedule by staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because at $299, that's not as, when you take the other one at 136 times 2,
so
it's not as bad as.
Yeah, and some things are further behind, right? Like some things were further behind, so there may not be. Some people may see that they're not getting the same as other users, but ultimately it's 25% pretty much across the board. But yeah,
I know that for some assessment roles, I know for my own it's gone down 11%, and the average in Merritt is 8%. So while we may see an increase proposed at 12.5, maybe somebody may only have a 10% increase. But I really think that we need to approve these charges as they were presented in committee of the whole, and we still need to move forward with these increases as they were presented so that we have the reserves so that we can plan for the future. And we have to start now and stop blaming anybody in the past and move ahead.
So with the idea that we still are going to be coming back 2 weeks, do you still have other things you'd like to talk about there, or?
Yeah, I look at, actually, the only guys getting a break right now are guys that are getting buried. There's no change in the cost of being buried at all. So they're getting a break, and they're the only guys. So there's got to be something for that. Now, when I look at public skating, children 2 to 12 years, 20% increase. Youth, 27% increase. Adults, 43% increase. Seniors, 40% increase. Family, 17.6%. How come we don't just have a bracket percent? Why does each area have a different percent increase?
Well, one of the things would be we don't want kids to have to bring 297 for, like we want to make sure it's a nice round number, so that when you have change in your pocket, it makes sense. The other thing is that, yeah, I mean, ultimately that's it, is we've gone up by about 50 cents per, and the reason is it's just a different number.
Yeah, $1.50 here, $1 here, $1.50 there. But I'm saying there's such a swing. In adults, a 43% increase.
Well, what the expectation would be that adults, the majority of adults, hopefully would be able to afford those recreation fees, which are significantly lower than other communities, especially in the region. So, we put the burden for cost recovering recreation, which we never cost recover, on adults versus children and families and seniors.
Yeah, and ice rentals, I mean, they've gone up significantly, 43% for the adult hourly rate. Even the renting of the dry floor and mezzanine have gone up, and again, all different swings of prices. That's what I find, from 43.5% to 14%. Damage deposit, 100% increase. Where were some of those? Oh, these other, the sports field, no charge in the seasonal field use charge, but the tournaments, the special bookings, daily rate field went up 212.5%. Tournaments, playoff, special bookings, daily rate field weekend went up 70%. Tournament damage deposit went up 900%. Rotary Park band shell went up 150%. Damage deposit 400%. Central Park sports box went up 150%. So generally, like I'm looking at the other things too, like swimming lessons, private lessons, 67% went up, per lesson 39%. We're taxing our houses, and then our recreation is also going up significantly. And to rent the civic center, I wouldn't want to be renting the civic center right now with some of these increases up to 172%. For the auditorium west half, 172%. The full auditorium, 78.5%. That's per hour. For the day, 114%. General, 90%. Auditorium east half, 100% increase. The general per hour, 100% increase. West half of the auditorium, 172%. The kitchen, this is a good one, 900%. I personally have a really hard time swallowing that. I do. I'm sorry. I know that we're behind the 8 ball. We need revenue, but I can't see those type of increases. I just have a really hard time swallowing that. You're going to find that people that used to rent the auditorium, they can't afford 172% increase in what they would rent it for.
So I think there's two things about this. One is that talking percentages is kind of meaningless, because
not to me, it's not.
It's not a real number, right? It's not a value. It's not a numerical value of cost, right? Something can go up 900% and it really only go up $4. No. So we have to we have to be aware that talking in percentages is not necessarily it can sound like a lot more than it actually is. Two, percentages went up highest, or actual costs went up highest for commercial users. So people who are business owners who might want to rent it, or people who have availability to pay at a market cost, whereas not-for-profits are always going to be lower. And council has the ability to waive fees for not-for-profits.
Well,
Whereas commercial businesses, that's where we're putting the burden on those commercial businesses in regards to costs. Those rates haven't gone up since 2003. 2007. So significantly not at market. And if you want to continue to offer services, they have to be paid for. We cannot continue to offer services that we don't have money. Like I'd like to make money. Print some money, anybody? Printing machine? No?
Well,
but we have to find a way to offset these costs. Things like the kitchen, we lose materials in the kitchen all the time. We have to find places for cost recovery. We're not required to provide those services. That is not a municipal mandate. Those are the types of services where we should be looking to make money.
Yes, but to go from $100 to $1,000, that's what your kitchen is, from $100 to $1,000. The general kitchen, $75 to $500. Well, this is the old one with 75 in the bylaw, and now it's on this one is 2024 is 500. In the bylaw, it's that's what it's listed as.
People who are renting a kitchen now are paying $500 minimum for weddings, for functions, those kind of things. Excuse me while I my chocolate.
Councillor Richard.
I hear the percentages, I see people 40% increase, from $2.50 to $3.50. And I'm also not going to question the staff if they're saving money on toilet paper. We really have to look at the big picture about saving money for the big projects and not look at the tiny little things. I understand that the big projects, the rentals are expensive. It's expensive to rent everywhere. Gas has gone up. The cost to build a house has gone up. I think in 2022, the cost of lumber tripled for home construction. It is ridiculous. We don't have any good news. Nobody's going to be happy with us regardless, whatever way we make a choice. But we're going to have to make that ugly decision, and people are going to be mad. Or maybe they're going to be understanding. But the bottom line is we're not here to be popular. We have to make positive decisions so that we still have the toilet that will flush in 2028 and water to the houses. And maybe it's unpopular, but we also have to make a budget so that we actually have staff. So I think we need to focus on the big things as well. I understand the percentages, but yeah. We used to have Toonie Tuesday at the movie theater in 1991, and I loved it. But you can't go to the movie anymore for $2 on a Tuesday because we're in council. No, it's just I agree with everything that you're saying, but also we have to make that unpopular decision and move forward. So can we move on, please?
Councillor Hogan. Most of this in a committee of the whole. So I'm a little concerned that either you're not reading your package or you're not understanding what's in it. Because we've already gone through this again for the third time. So yeah, I know, but I'm just saying we've been here, you've seen this. So let's not pretend like we haven't seen this, okay? Because we have. Kevin.
So as CAO White was progressing this, I've already factored that into our preliminary budget that's been presented. So the operational deficit that we were facing and needs to be sourced through some combination of service level changes and taxation, It's already factored all of these in. So if we are going to remove anything out of that revenue column for the city, it will increase the operational deficit that we are sourcing through taxation and service level changes. And so we just need to be aware that that has already been done, and that 2 million deficit that was presented would simply grow by the amount that we remove out of the fees and charges bylaw. So we just need to be aware that that was done at the time.
Councillor Charney.
At that, I don't know which meeting it was, when we discussed the 12.5 for a total municipal tax revenue, it meant an increase in municipal taxes of 1.3 million, and we were still short 700,000, if that's my understanding. So with all of these increases here, do we come close to our projected $2 million? Our $700,000 shortfall?
No, so as the CFO is explaining, these are built in to the budget. That $700,000 is what we still need to find. So we have proposed $400,000 that we would use from revenue or from reserve, hoping that this would be the last year we access that, and another $300,000 in service cuts for this year.
What is your definition of a service cut?
So we had spoken about making decisions about where we may not so I think an example we gave is we may not paint the lines in the parking lots of town facilities this year. That will save us money. Now that will save us money for this year, but it doesn't save us money for next year. So some of those service cuts may be permanent cuts. Does the community, and I'm from the Northwest Territory, so when you talk about mosquitoes, I got it. But does the community feel like we need to spend $30,000 to $40,000 a year every year on pest control? Or is that something that the community is happy to be doing without, based on the fact that we know that that's that cost? But if we cut something to this year and we don't do it next year, we're still going to see an increase in costs, right? So those are those hard decisions for Committee of the Whole next week, which we'll be providing you, is that there are hard decisions to be made about service levels in order to manage the level of taxation, right? And those are hard decisions that are going to have to be made. And I think what we've really focused on is that we have some serious water and sewer infrastructure needs, serious ones, that are going to be extremely costly, that we may not get grant funding for. And even if we do, it's going to be 50-50 at the best. So if it's a $30 million project and we get $15 million of grant funding, we still need to provide $15 million, which we do not have. And we know that there are some of our water and sewer infrastructure is at failure. It is being held together by our very talented staff. So when we take from reserves and we don't offset with service cuts or fee increases or taxation increases, we put ourselves at a risk of no water, no sewer. No water, no sewer, no town. We can have unpaved roads, but we cannot have water and sewer failure. That will cause a mass evacuation and people will not be able to return to their homes until there's water and sewer. Right? Like that is what we're talking about. That is the depth of concern that as an organization that we have right now. Is that we do not have the funds to deal with a mass failure of our sewage treatment plants or any of our underground infrastructure. And that is why we're proposing these very hard changes to rates, levels of taxation, and consideration of service cuts. And service cuts can be like, maybe we don't plant flowers. Maybe we don't have baskets, right? We have to make those, you guys, not me, I get to present them, that CFO and I, but you guys are going to have to make those hard cuts because we are not in a position to continue to have luxuries.
We've also agreed that won't be any new vehicles bought this year. We're going to run our vehicles till they're done. We're not giving anything away anymore. No Zambonis given away, no fire engines, none of that. That all goes to ROI for cost recovery. So we're doing those kind of things as well. We're finding every aspect where we can save money and make a change. Now, when I came in as councillor in 2008, first year we were here, we had to raise the water tax 48% because it had been missed for so many years. That was a $500,000 increase. It was very unpopular at the time, but we had to do it because we didn't have the money to run it. So again, here we're sitting. And a classic example is a Soyuz soft padding for years, and now they're at a 40% tax increase? No, that's because of water and sewer. Their water runs brown at this point in time. So this is where we're at. I mean, you got to remember, our sewer plant was built 71 years ago by the province and then handed to the community. It's 71 years old. And the flood didn't help us out much. Matter of fact, the flood hindered a lot of it. So what we had where we could fly along until things got better was railroaded by the flood situation. Now, thankfully, we had a crew down there that managed to save all the computers and everything downstairs, because that was a $9 million save. Had they not been able to do that, it would have cost us $9 million to put that back together again. So, yes, this is unpopular, but again, this is only first, second, and third reading, and we still have more to talk about on this. This is not going to be done tonight. Sure, why not?
Gallery, like, it's hard because this is a relatively new council with a big budget decision. We have relatively new staff, including myself. Nobody wants to have this conversation.
Well, also the fact too is
But we know we need to for the best outcomes for the
we
community.
did not have a full-time CFO for almost 2 years. We had someone who was doing it off the side of their desk, and I think things were missed. And he was very upfront that this was not his thing. So now we've got a professional that has looked at the books and said, we've got a problem. And and that's why we've all been voted to do this. And for people who are unaware, we all pay taxes. Some people think that mayor and council do not pay land tax. We certainly do. We pay all the taxes in the community just like anybody else. Do I want to see this go up? No, I don't. But I also don't want to see us become unincorporated and have the TNRD run us. Well, that's your next step if we can't meet our goals. That's your next step. Just so you're aware of that. That's your next step. If we go unincorporated because we can't meet our obligations, TNRD now runs the community. So just so you're aware. But this is, again, just first, second, and third readings of these. We still can talk about this. People in the gallery can send in their concerns, and we can talk about it. But this is never an easy situation. And yeah, we're a relatively new council, but this is our second budget, so this isn't something we haven't done before. And we were warned last year that this day was most likely coming. So this is not a surprise to anyone, to be honest with you. So I understand you've got some concerns, but we've got these recommendations in front of us. Anybody that wants to come and talk to me at any point in time, or any of the councillors in the next week or two, please feel free. Send an email. Just don't make sure there's nothing ticking in it when you send it. So, but we still have time. So I'm going to kind of cut this short and we'll move on. Now, I've read the recommendations. We've had conversation. Is there any other conversations so we can move on? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Councilor Logan, thank you. I mean to cut it short, but this could go on forever. So taxes are never an easy thing. I'll tell you one thing. Taxes and cold weather shelters are an absolutely no-win situation. Nobody is ever happy with either one. Freedom of Information Bylaw 7.2. Recommendation that Council read City of Merritt Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Bylaw number 2363-2024 for the first time. Somebody to move that. Councillor Petrosi, Councillor Egan. Any questions on this? Councillor Egan.
I'd just like to say, I know you said you wanted, it said in there that you would post it on your, wherever inside, if you put the posters up. I think it should be on our website as well.
What's that? Sorry.
Freedom of Information and Protection.
Yeah, it'll be on the website.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So for those in the gallery, would we like a little update on what this actually is? Linda, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Bylaw, it is a legislative bylaw that we must have because there's two things that a municipality can do. One, we must name a head. This bylaw, we've had this bylaw for a number of years, and what this bylaw is doing is just cleaning up a few things in it. So the head is going to be identified as the corporate officer, which is a statutory position, and all municipalities must have a corporate officer, as well as their deputy. This will bring our bylaw in compliance with our policy, because our policy also identifies the Director of Corporate Services, who is also our corporate officer, as the head of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy. The other piece that this bylaw will do is it will bring into compliance the fees that we charge for businesses or a law firm, a insurance company, anything like that. We can actually charge them a small recovery fee. If someone is looking for their own personal information through Freedom of Information, we don't charge them for that for the first 3 hours. But if it's a business, we would charge them for that. So this brings our bylaw into compliance with the legislation.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Any questions on that explanation from council? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Second recommendation that council read the City of Merritt Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Bylaw number 236322024 a second time. Councillor Etchart, Councillor Egan. I think we went through all of that. Any questions? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Recommendation that council read City of Merritt Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Bylaw number 236322024 a third time. Councillor Petrosi, Councillor Etchart. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. 7.3, Fraser Valley IMBL bylaw. And the recommendation is that council give first reading to the Fraser Valley Intermunicipal Business License Amendment Bylaw 2364-2024. Need a mover. Councillor Etchart, Councillor Charney, and could I possibly bother someone for an explanation on this one as well? Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. This also is a housekeeping amendment. Unfortunately, it works in the reverse in this case. Several years ago, the city joined 3 intercommunity business license schemes, 2 of which were not involving any kind of revenue sharing. The third one did involve revenue sharing, which was this one. What the scheme, an intermunicipal business license scheme, does is it provides an opportunity for a contractor who is working in another municipality to purchase the business license for there, plus they can also purchase a business license to do business in another community. That is part of that scheme. So in this case, the Fraser Valley has an intermunicipal business license scheme, and the city was in it, but we were voted in only by 9 of the 11 members of the original parties that were involved. The other 2 of them never voted in, so we voted the city in, so we were actually in there incorrectly. In 2022, it was decided that the city should be removed from there, and we had until December 31st for all of the municipalities to change their bylaws. All of those bylaws have now been changed, so the city, this is housekeeping, we're just cleaning up and canceling or repealing this bylaw.
Thank you. We have a mover and a seconder. Any questions? Councillor Charney? Oh, we have a mover and seconder already. Yep. All those in favor? Opposed? Recommendation that council give second reading to the Fraser Valley Intermunicipal Business License Amendment Bylaw 2364-2024. I'm going to say Councillor Ogan is going to move this one. And Councillor Petrosi will second it. And it's the same situation. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Recommendation that council give third reading to the Fraser Valley Intermunicipal Business License Amendment Bylaw 2364-2024. Councillor Chart, Councillor Charney, same situation as before. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. New business, City of Merritt Audit Planning Report. Mr. Nakanimi, Director of Finance, to present, and you are off.
So, Your Worship, tonight we have our audit partner on Teams, our audit plan. Over to Cody.
Thank you, Mr. Perotti. Always a pleasure. Unfortunately, we only see you once a year, maybe twice, but it's always nice to see you. Questions, Mr. Perotti? Anybody have a question? No one. I see no questions, Mr. Oh, sorry, Councillor Egan.
Thank you, and thank you for your presentation. Just a little bit more clarity on materiality. When you're talking about preliminary materiality to be 701,000 based on 3% of revenue, what do you mean by materiality? Is that something that we purchased or? So it has more to do with whether or not you would consider it fraudulent, or whether you would have to further investigate if it was fraudulent. Well, $700,000 seems like a pretty large number to kind of overlook something. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Perotti. So we do have a recommendation. Recommendation is that council approve the audit plan for the year ended December 31st, 2023. Councillor Etcher, Councillor Petrosi. Any more questions? Those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Perotti. You bet. Thank you. 8.2 Grant and Aid 2024 applications. I'm gonna make a motion here And motion being that we move this to an ad hoc committee for more investigation, because we do have some issues with some of these that have come in. We've only seen them for a couple of days. We have changed our procedure for how we're going to be doing grant and aid, so I think it would be fair to everyone. We move this to an ad hoc committee to have them looked at and approved with a little bit more time, rather than doing it off the hip here tonight and not taking everything into consideration. I'll move it, but you'll second it? Second. Any other questions on that?
So as part of the motion, could we have a committee selection? So include which council members will sit on the committee and when your first meeting will be?
Sure.
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
So, to be honest with you, I think it would be a good idea if all council sat in on it. I think all council needs to be there to talk about it. Because again, this comes out of tax dollars. So, yeah. So, what would be a good meeting for everyone? So, I would like to see all council on it, and if you can make it, I'm not sure Manuel is traveling all the time, but if we can make it, I would like to have it as soon as we possibly can have it, so we can get this dealt with and people can find out what's going on and where we're going, so they can make their plans.
And then I'm just wondering, so many of the people who submitted are here, and I'm wondering if council who have had this and maybe reviewed some of it, if there's specific questions for specific groups that may impact your process. And there is one group that their event is happening mid-February.
Oh, we'll be done well before then.
Oh,
I would like to get it done in the next 5 to 7 days.
Oh, okay. Well, and then how would you like to? So then we wouldn't have a decision until the next council meeting, which is the 13th, which is the first day of that event. So if council would like to, it's the Rotary Exchange. Okay, sorry, starts on the 9th, and goes to the 13th. So I don't know if council wants to specifically address something with regards to that, or we can give them maybe a in principle.
We'll do the in principle
Yeah,
agreement.
okay.
We'll do the in principle agreement. We'll put it as the first one to be done.
Okay, and then, so I don't know if council has any questions for the people that are in the gallery now?
Not at this point. I think it would be not, because the whole idea is as a council, the group to look at this, discuss it, and then we will make sure that the group that needs to have on time sensitive will get their answer as all of us voting together. So, can I, if you can come up with a date this week, we'd be more than happy to do it. If you can come up with a date this week, Friday would be fine with me. Afternoon would be fine with me. So sorry about this, ladies and gents, but we do have some changes and there are some situations that we have to talk about in this. Yeah, go ahead.
Even if we're going to make a committee and before we decide to do that, can we not have presentations from those that are actually present? Because from all the submissions that we had, I think it would be fair that if they showed up here, that they actually get to present some of the information. I know that we're going to have time if you want to meet on Friday or whenever, but they're here expecting an answer, which we had done in the past, and they prepared all this information, especially the chamber with, I think, 69 pages or whatever it was, that we should probably have them come up to the mic and say their piece, because they've worked really hard to do all these things. And thank you everyone for all your detailed information.
Sure. I have no problem with that.
I think that's the least that we could do.
Sure.
Before we just kind of adjourn to
Unfortunately.
Friday.
Oh, you haven't left yet.
Before they leave.
Sure, if that's what we want to do, that's more than,
like,
yep. Okay,
the least we could do.
Sure.
Since we can't make big
Okay,
decisions.
so, I've got Nicola Valley Community Band. Anybody here from the community band? Nobody from the community band. Rotary. Come on up to the mic and I'll push the button and off you go. I'll get you to push your button right in front of you there. Okay.
Oh, my voice is normally loud enough. That's the first I've been told.
Yeah, but it's for people online that can't hear us. So go ahead, please.
So my name is Danica Veer. I am not only a member of the Merritt Rotary Club, but I'm also district member of 5060 Rotary International Youth So Merritt has been one of the forefront within the Rotary Youth Exchange program. We've been a few years without a student, unfortunately due to COVID and other financial restrictions in the Merritt area. Last year, Merritt was put back on the map within Rotary Youth Exchange when we were the first in 5060 to host a Indigenous event for our international youth that are coming into Canada and the US. 5060 is a district that goes down to Wenatchee all the way up to Revelstoke. This year, we were asked to host the event again. And in conjunction with MVIT, we're going to be hosting an event where we have 17 inbound and 15 outbound students coming. We've also extended the invitation out to MSS, as there are also a number of students there that are also looking at the Rotary Youth Exchange program. Having the opportunity to be able to bring this event into Merritt, be able to work with the Aboriginal community, and be able to share the history that the Nicola Valley has to offer for the Indigenous community it's been unbelievable. So much so to take light to the students that came last year. They got a cute little grocery bag, $5 grocery bag. Half of them use that as their carry-on for their flight home, 7 months after they'd finished their event in Merritt. So we presented enough of a program that had enough of an impact on them that something as simple as this cute little bag was actually being used as part of their carry-on. Minor little things, but these are teenagers. It's kind of a big thing. So it was really neat that we were able to do that last year. We're looking forward to being able to do it this year. Our event this year is going up to Upper Nicola. They have got a winter shelter. We're going to be having a bus. So all these students are coming to Merritt. They're staying in one of the local hotels. We're going to be taking a bus that transports them up to Upper Nicola. Upper Nicola is going to be hosting a lunchtime event for us, where they're going to be coming back to MVIT. MVIT, we're going to have our drummers, we're going to have our dancers. We have some elders coming in to tell stories. We have a dinner being cooked up there as well that we're working on. And then this event's going to come together. The students are going to integrate with the community, speak to the elders. Students from MSS that are interested in youth exchange will have that one-on-one opportunity to speak to the students, learn a bit about the program, and try and build that peer support, which is going to be amazing. We're asking for $1,500 to help with funding. Essentially, that's to offset some of the bus costs. Our bus is coming up from Wenatchee, which is nice, but we're going to have the additional cost to be able to transport them to 3 different locations in Merritt that we're going to have to pay for the driver and the additional bus costs associated that wasn't in our budget initially.
Thank you. Any questions for Mrs. Muir? Councillor Charney.
How many students at MSS are currently interested in the Rotary Exchange?
This year we had 1 selected right now, but for the exchange year 25-26, there's currently 7 students that are looking at it. But that doesn't mean word of mouth. We had 5 students. Well, actually, sorry, we started off with 14 students. We took it down to 5. We presented 2 to district and 1 was presented. We're hoping to be able to achieve 20 to 25 interest in the program with hopefully 20 applications to review. And then we'll be able to get 2 exchange students for next year. We're working with one of the other bands to be able to have a student that isn't Aboriginal to be able to depart Merritt area as well for the 25-26 season. Being able to get as much exposure to this definitely helps with people to understand what the program is about, because it is a fairly expensive program for a family to be able to have a student to go outbound.
So are you looking at that 20 figure to try and get them to come on this event?
We're hoping absolutely that they're going to be a part of the event at MVIT. We can extend the invite, but that's the best we can do for it. Okay. So realistically, we hope for that. We don't know what that number is going to look like.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
You bet. Thank you. Oh, I know this person's here. Merritt and District Chamber of Commerce. You've been here before, Mark. I'll just get you to push the button when you get up there. Matter of fact, when you're done, just leave it live. Yeah.
Great.
You're up.
So you have my lengthy presentation. Mostly it was a review of what we did last year and the successes. And so this year we're asking for the same amount of money to do a similar thing. So the night markets and the Coolchana markets. Basically, even with the $7,500, if we were to get it, we will not be able to have the same number of big bands and things like that we had last year. We'll have to go to more open mics, which people really enjoyed anyhow. but, and just rely more on the local and lower costs and things like that. So we will have to reduce our costs because the chamber, last year we went and we spent all the money that we had for doing events in our budget, and we have no surplus this year. So basically, I guess the bottom line is if the chamber does not receive money to do events, such as this, somebody else will have to take it over. We won't be able to do it. We don't have the money in the budget, and we will go back to just the three things that chambers do, and that's the ABCs, they call them: advocacy, benefits, and connections. And we'll just pare right down, and that's what we'll do. Okay, so that is basically my plea. If we can't get any kind of funding, and unfortunately, and I don't know if you guys know this, chambers are not considered the same as any other nonprofit. We cannot apply for the grants that other people can apply for. We can't apply to Destination BC or, you know, through the lottery funds or anything like that, because we're not allowed to, because we collect memberships. So we have no other options really for getting any funds.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any questions for Margaret?
Yes, Manuel.
Councillor Hogan.
Hearing everything that's gone on tonight, I totally get it. Something has to give somewhere, and that's fine. If we do not do them, then you know what? That's fine by me. It's what the city has to do. Okay.
Thank you, Margaret. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Merritt and District Hospice Society. Anybody from the Hospice Society here? No one from the Hospice Society. Merritt Breadbasket and Soup Kitchen.
Still on.
You're on.
Good evening, Michael Furman here. You've all met me at the open house. Thank you for all coming to our 25th anniversary. I don't have a long presentation on what we presented. I just wanted to clarify one point, because I don't generally put in for 100% funding on a project. And the reason I did that is because I found with other grants that we can put in for, they don't like to share. They want to have 100% funding for that particular project. So if I apply for, so I partitioned it. So we're probably going to spend about $8,500 over the next 3 years. So I've only asked for about 30% thereabouts. And like I said, it's just to improve our equipment, most part. Like a handheld or a normal blender or the little handheld stuff, I break them. They don't last now that we're going through huge amounts of volume for people. I think we're at about 115 average per week now. A year ago it was 75. So I mean, it just, and our demographics changed completely. Like it's mostly seniors and anybody on fixed income disabilities. It's really, and the more that we see more seniors, the more seniors we start seeing, they realize that it's, you know, they can come in for this. And the good news is we've actually picked up with the new owner of No Frills. So we're now getting food from them like we used to get when it was Extra Foods. So it's increased our amount of output. Could be as much as 10 to 20,000 pounds for the year. So that's it. Any questions?
Nope, I don't have any questions. I was going to ask you how many people are using, because I know I've heard the number is up.
Yeah, what happens is we go through like stage where we're at about like 100, 115 sort of thing, and then we plateau there for a while, and then we get a jump, and then the new jump is like 10, 15 people a week, and then it stays there.
So question I have for you, and some people have approached me with concerns that some people that are using that have no business using it and are taking away from people who really do. And this has been approached to me a couple times this year because people are watching who goes there. Yep. And there's definitely some people. Is there a criteria that you have to meet, or is it just come through the door?
No, so there's no documentation whatsoever coming in there, and I don't want to get into that at all
No,
either.
I understand that.
There is some, I guess it's abuse. There is some that you're going to see that come in there. But since day one, like, I mean, they've been around 25 years. There's never been any curriculum. Like, you want to come in for a bowl of soup, come in for a bowl of soup. We don't care who you are, right? Just have a sit down and have it. If we have it, we'll give it away, right? So we control how much each person takes, and we do have things in place where there's no documentation, but I know that this person has 2 kids and this one has 2 kids. So we have little extras that we can hand out for them. But the abuse, I mean, it's pretty small, right? It's pretty small. It does happen, but what are you going to do?
Councillor Charney?
Do you ever run out of food where you
No.
turn people down? Okay, so
we
that's
get
would be
down to the
minimum,
last
yeah?
scrape sometimes, but we've had like the last bowl of soup go out for the last person sometimes. But no, that's my worst fear.
Okay.
So what happens is we overcook every single week. Like, I'll cook about 200 bowls of soup, and we'll give out about 150, and then the other 50 go to the food bank. So that's where that extra 20% that goes out, it goes to the food bank, goes to the shelter. Seventh-day Adventist, we give them stuff at the end of the day too for their program on Sundays. So we just share it out. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
big on the
excellent.
resource share. If we're bringing it in and we can give it out, I don't save it. We don't have space. St. Michael's just, there's no space. So if we can just give it to the next group and they'll give it out. Food bank mainly. Right?
Excellent, thank you.
Councillor Richard?
I was just wondering how your storage space is going.
So much better now from the grant money I got from the government to put it in.
Do you have good?
The cabinets are in, the full cabinet space, and going to like the commercial fridges and the commercial freezers, what a godsend, because I can get so much more into a smaller space, and because of the height. So all my cabinetry's in now, so that storage space has actually gained us a table, so we can now sit another 6 people in the building.
Has it made it easier for your volunteers?
Oh,
In
I
the
don't
sense
care
of-
about them.
Sure.
We're all volunteers.
Speak into the
no,
mic. Speak into the microphone.
Yeah, yeah.
Changed.
They're watching. No, it's yeah, it makes it easier for them because everything's in its place. So, and that is one nice thing is we're all volunteers. We haven't paid rent in, I don't know, 3-4 years. They don't charge us rent anymore. There's no payroll whatsoever, right? So our expense load stays low. So, like if we don't have it, we just don't have it, kind of thing. That's just what. But thankfully, we've been getting a lot through the community, or Métis Society was good, and they had a grant, and they got us like a commercial food processor, which is so much better than the old little household stuff. Just no good when you're processing 200 pounds of food. Right?
No, it's certainly impressive with what you've done there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's been good.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. Merritt Country Christmas. Carrie, you're up. Just got papers. No hitting anyone in the audience, please.
Just pretending to.
It's all right.
So basically all that the Merritt Country Christmas is requesting is funds to cover the rental of the Civic Center, and some of that would also go towards liability insurance to hold the event. Everything else we've got covered.
That's easy. Any questions for?
And the only other comment I want to say is, I believe it was CBC oath, the Toronto Santa Claus Parade in 2023 had 27 floats and 12 marching bands for a total of 39 entries. We had 51.
Yes, we did.
Any questions?
We'd have asked if we did, but we don't. It's pretty obvious, so thank you, Carrie. Thank you for all you do on that. Appreciate it. Merritt Little Britches Rodeo. No Merritt Little Britches Rodeo. Merritt Snowmobile Club. No Merritt Snowmobile Club. Nordic Ski Club. No Nordic Ski Club. Nicola Valley Kennel Club. No Nicola Valley Kennel. Nicola Valley Skating Club.
Hi, I'm Jill. I'm the president of the Nicola Valley Skating Club. I don't have a presentation. You guys have my stuff in there, but basically we usually only ask for a grant and aid to cover the cost of the arena for our carnival, which runs every second year. This year is not a year for our carnival, but we ended up installing a jumping harness, which I put an exclamation an explanation of that in there. And so basically a jumping harness helps our senior skater programs. It helps to keep some of our kids here in town that would actually go travel to other clubs that do offer this harness. We had fundraised for the last 3 years to cover it. Unfortunately, because of the age of our arena, it actually significantly went over what we had fundraised. So we had fundraised about $10,000 and our early estimates were about $5,000 and it ended up costing us $21,000. And a lot of that was infrastructure into the arena itself. So we're hoping that you guys will consider a small portion of that for us because of the age of the arena and significant costs for that. But we did have a bunch of community backing, so it was great to have some donated.
How many kids are in the club?
This year we have about 120. So we have 4 different programs. So we have like a hockey-based power skating program, figure skating, learn to skate.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. Glad to see it's being used. Councillor Charney.
Did you approach Alpha Design and see if they would donate some of their?
So they are willing to donate some of it. We are hoping, or they've asked us to really try to fundraise hard to cover a lot of the costs, and we can have that discussion with them again. But yeah, they did a significant number of hours for us for sure.
Because I see that their labor is the most expensive part of it all.
It always is.
Yes, absolutely. So we're in conversations with them right now, and we haven't gotten a hard answer on that yet, but hopefully, yes.
Okay,
we're
great,
hoping.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Nicola Valley Community Arts Council. I don't know if the mic goes down that far.
I know.
She's used to
He
it.
has to do it. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Mayor and Council, and again, city staff. And once again, just sitting here, it makes me really appreciate again all the hard work you guys are doing and all these hard choices that you have to make. Truly do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And again, it makes me feel a little bad about my request for money when I'm hearing what's happening. But one of the things that we were really excited about last year was we got an impact grant from the BC Arts Council, and that allowed us to take our mobile art trailer out into the community. And so we were attending playgrounds and schools outside, some of the First Nations communities. We were taking the art trailer there. And of course, when you get an impact grant or a grant from BC Arts Council, that doesn't, they give it to you for 1 year. The next year, you're on your own. So we would really like to continue that program. I mean, I understand if it's not possible, we'll look at other ways. But we would really like to continue. We found, like, by going to playgrounds like at Diamond Vale and Central School, for instance, we were just at Rotary for a while, but when we went to Central School and to Diamond Vale, we really found that kids came out to that because those kids aren't able to get to someplace like Rotary Park. So we'd really like to be able to do that. Totally understand with what's happening with the budget this year. And we'll just try to find some other ways to make money. We are a line item in the budget now, which I'm very appreciative of because it does make a difference. When we apply to BC Arts Council for grants, they generally match what we get from our municipal government. So that has made a big difference, and I really appreciate that. So good luck with your deliberations. Thank you.
No problem. Any questions? Oh, hey, whoa, there might be a question. Don't go so fast. Now you're good. Bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Gotcha.
Thanks again.
Oh, hold on a second. Nicola Valley Evangelical Free Church. No. Girl Guides of Canada. The cookie people.
The cookie people. I didn't bring any cookies either.
Oh, I'll kill the. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm killing your mic.
I know. Oh, we don't get cookies till like next month, so they're coming. Don't worry. I'll be back. My name is Chelsea Warren. I am the contact guider for the Merritt Girl Guide units. We have 5 units here in Merritt. We have Sparks, Embers, Guides, Pathfinders, and Rangers. But the grant in aid that we're requesting is for our guides, which are ages 9 to 11. We're requesting a grant in kind for the use of the Civic Center. We've been meeting there this year on the 3rd Wednesday of every month. And this is where we bring that opportunity for our young girls to develop some life skills. So we've been using the kitchen and having little baking contests, make your own pizza nights, as well as just utilizing the small space in room 4 to talk about guiding, traveling. We've done a variety of different presentations and groups. We meet, like I said, once a month. third Wednesday of the month for 2 hours, and we do a variety of ways to empower girls with a bunch of different crafts, activities, baking, cooking, and all of that. So part of this is because we do have 5 units, we do rent different spaces, and we're only requesting use of the space for part of our year because we meet basically the same as the school year, September to June. But once April hits, we're outside and we're doing lots of adventures out there. But from September to March, we like to be indoors. So we meet, like I said, the third Wednesday of the month here. We also are utilizing free community spaces, and we're trying to get the girls tough for being outdoor in all weather. So we meet on the first Saturday of every month outside for 2 hours, all conditions. So, yes.
So question, how many
Yeah.
how many kids are we talking about?
So we currently have 11 guides, and our max actually we've capped because we have, volunteerism clients. So we only have enough ratio to have up to 12 girls. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And is there anything that you are not involved in this community? I'm quite concerned.
No.
Every time I see you, you're representing somebody.
I do. As I've told my coworker, because he says I need to find hobbies. Volunteering is my hobby. This is what I do.
Well, you can come with Mario next Monday.
Yes.
We'll put you to work.
I'll be there. Don't worry. I'll be taking pictures.
Oh, as we fall off the ladder? For those
Hopefully.
who don't know, we have a work bee to get the train at the library running again. So we're going to be up on the ladders. Her husband and somebody else and myself are going to be up there causing all sorts of mayhem.
It'll be fun.
So if you want to see people fall off the ladders, it's like almost 25 feet up. So I lived up there for 22 years building that thing. So I'm good to go.
Yeah. So yeah, Girl Guides is a great. We've been in Merritt for as long as I don't even know, honestly, because I just came into it because my daughter needed a leader. So I've been here doing this with Girl Guides for at least 6 years now. So
excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions for Chelsea? No questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. I'll be back again because I'm another person.
Oh no. Well, maybe Merritt Dance Society.
No.
Oh, okay. Merritt Dance Society. Merritt Otter Swim Club. What's that? Oh, right. Sorry. My mistake. Hold it. Well, so we have nobody here from the Dance Society. Merritt Centennials. Merritt Centennials Hockey Club. Nobody. Merritt Dance Society. Nobody. Merritt Otter Swim Club. Nobody. Merritt Volleyball Association. Nicola Valley Farmers Market. Nobody. I'm not sure which one you're waiting for, Chelsea, but that's all we got. I didn't get it. All I got is the Valley Band. I don't have the Friends of the Library. I did not have it. Sorry. I don't have it. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No worries. I'm pretty sure I got it in on time. Yes. So again, hello.
I don't have it.
I am Chelsea Warren. I am one of 2 people that kind of organize very randomly a program called Friends of the Library. We're a very grassroots organization that supports the mandate of the library. For those that are not familiar, when the library was built, there was a shortfall for getting equipment and things into the library space of about $40,000. So the Friends of the Library came to action and helped fundraise to get equipment like desks and chairs and some comfortable spaces into the library, as well as if you haven't been to the library, when you walk in and you're in the center of the room and you look up, there's a beautiful train display that shows like part of the history of the Nicola Valley, like having had a train station close by where the library was actually built. That was a piece that is very beloved in the community. As Mr. Mayor Getz mentioned, the train is right now very finicky. Sometimes it works and it doesn't, and it's been a long time since we've done a real overhaul and cleaning of the space. So I thought, hey, let's 2 things in one. Let's have, we had a very successful newcomers tea last April where it was April 1st. It was not a joke, but we had a brand new welcoming people back into the community post-COVID, back into the space. So we invited anyone that was new to Merritt within the last 3 to 5 years to come into the library, as well as we had tables set up with different volunteers that were friends of the library to stand and talk and liaise and sort of just talk about what are the great things about being in the Nicola Valley. We had volunteer organizations and other people out just to mix, mingle, and talk and welcome people into the community. Lots of members of council actually attended that, and I thought, hey, let's celebrate the train because it's beloved and everyone, young and old, has an appreciation for trains, but let's also have another newcomer's tea. So the goal is to have sort of a two-part process. One, get the train up and running and get the equipment and supplies we need, as well as two, introduce people that are new to Merritt to what our community offers and celebrate and welcome them into the space. I've already been liaising with local organizations to come and help volunteer in that event. To the event, that includes the Girl Guides, the Chamber, and I've also reached out to the Love to Dance and a bunch of other organizations. So the goal is to just bring people in, welcome them into a free community space, and get them kind of excited about all the different things there are to do in the Nicola Valley. So that is the goal. Fix the train, host a party, let people meet, greet, and liaise, and build those connections.
Thank you, Chelsea. So just so you're aware, this is a TNRD building. I've talked to Claire about this, where we're going to make a joint submission that TNRD helps with some of these costs, because this is a TNRD building. It's not a city building.
Yeah.
So they should be involved in this, and that might be Area M Director and Area N Director. So I'm going to carry that being a TNRD Director. I'm going to be making the request for some funds for this. Just a little bit of historical fact. The area where the model train set is the actual footprint of the original train station. That was its exact original footprint, and Doug Strand was the one who came up with the idea, and then the five of us built that over 2 years. So, and it's been 15 years since we've really done any work to it. So, and the kids look at me with big long eyes when I come in there, and so we've got to get that fixed. So it's very fixable. It's just super dirty. So
yes, needs a little love.
We will clean it up. So thank you. Any
Okay.
questions for Chelsea?
And we're good with anything that you provide in terms of financial contributions. I am working sort of behind the scenes trying to gear up. I've got a couple of personal people making donations as well as some businesses. So I am out there trying to get some donations as well too.
Councillor Egan.
Just wondering what the date is for this?
The event's going to be,
Yes.
assuming we can get it all ready to go.
It'll be ready to go.
Okay, March 23rd, 2024 from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And I will send out an email and an invite as well too.
Your train will be running before February 1st.
Perfect. What I like to hear.
Or else it won't be. But it will be. It's just,
it will be. I have faith.
It's just super dirty.
Yes.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
And the last one we had was a letter from the Nicola Valley Rodeo Association. I think everybody saw that. So here we are. So we do have a recommendation on the floor that now that we've heard from everyone, that motion to move it to the ad hoc committee for more investigation and deal with that and get that done ASAP within the next couple of days.
So if Friday afternoon works for people, we could do like 1:30, 2 o'clock. Councillor Charts. Well, then you don't get to participate.
We'll have to work on it as best we can, and if you have some concerns, you can let us know. I don't understand that. Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. 8.3, Silga resolutions. Recommendation that council resolve to forward the following resolution to the 2024 Silga Convention for consideration. Impact on local government from the decriminalization of drugs in BC. Whereas the province of BC was granted an exemption under the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act for the personal possession of small amounts of certain illegal drugs for a trial period beginning January 31st, 2023. That probably should be 2023, yes, until January 31st, 2026. Whereas communities have seen increased pressure on RCMP first responders since the implementation of the decriminalization pilot program. Whereas no statistics or reporting dashboard has been provided to support the continuation of the program or demonstrate the decrease in harm associated with decriminalizing the possession of small amounts of illegal substances. Therefore, be it resolved that UBCM requests the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions to create a workable dashboard which reports statistics of the impact decriminalization has had on reducing the harm of criminalization and demonstrates that continuation of the pilot program is of benefits to the community. I need a mover on that. Councillor Egan. I'm going to say Councillor Ogan. There he is. So that is one of our recommendations that there's a second one I think we're working on, and that will come to you as well. Councillor Charney.
Okay, small amounts of illegal substances, are they illegal or legal?
Well, they're still illegal over the 2.5. So they are still considered illegal as long as if you're over 2.5 milligrams or whatever.
But should that be legal or illegal?
Well,
they're still illegal under the Criminal Code of Canada. The province of BC has an exemption.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's still illegal. They're still illegal substances under the
we're the only
Controlled
province doing
Substances
this.
Act.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yep. Councillor Etcher.
When we had met with Dr. Benton, we're having discussions about a portal or dashboard that was going to be providing us information. So us moving this to Silga, I mean, I like it, but aren't we supposed to have this already? Like
It was we went and
I remember.
we went and saw Whiteside. We went and saw Minister Whiteside, and then 2 days after we got back from UCM, she canceled the dashboard.
Okay.
She canceled it openly in a public
because I know
press conference.
Other communities will have this, and I mean, if we bring it to Silga, and not every other community has it, they'll either approve or found it all in one. But I just thought that we were already supposed to get this again. But
We were supposed to get it, and when we went to UBCM, she promised it to us as we sat there, and then 3 days after we got back, she canceled it. Yeah, and she said there would be no numbers given at any point in time. Now, I've asked the RCMP for numbers, and they've been denied to give us the numbers. They're in a gag situation. So this is now requesting, the whole idea of this was to get numbers. We have a start, we have no middle, and no finish. So there's no numbers being tracked, and it's causing harm to the community and a great cost to the RCMP, which is the largest part of our budget, and they're actually having to go over budget to look after this. So what we're asking for here is a plan. Simple as that.
transparency and accountability.
A plan.
Right?
Any plan would be good.
Yeah. Okay.
CEO.
Yeah, and I think it's important to say, I mean, they may be tracking the data, but there is a significant lack of transparency in the presentation of that data. So at the end of the pilot project, they may say, this is what we collected, but there's been no reporting, there's been no openness for people to have feedback on that data.
This is harming every community in BC. We are ending up with people that are from Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta coming here because they can carry here, but they can't carry in their own province. So, and frankly, we were lied straight to our faces at UBCM. It was a deadbolt-faced lie. And now all we're asking for is some sort of guidance so we can have an idea if this is working or not. Because at the end of the pilot project doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to kill it. They may just continue on with it as it sits, which is unacceptable. Can I have a mover? Oh, did we do that already? Councillor Ogan, anything from you? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. I'm for all right. 8.4 Bailey House 2023 year-end report. Recommendation that council receive the 2023 year-end report for the Visitor Information Center at the Bailey House for information. Councillor Egan. Oh, Councillor Petrosi. We've all read the report. Are there any burning questions that anybody wants to bring forward on that? I appreciate the Bailey House. Appreciate all the hard work that's gone in there. Jack's clutching paper like he wants to come and say something. Come on up, Jack.
There are 6 pages here to read.
Well, excellent. I'll kill your mic right now.
Thank you very much. The first good news is not asking for any money.
Well, here's the better news. You wouldn't have got it, so.
If you read the report, is there any questions? That's the only reason I'm here, if you have any questions.
You know what, I'm going to be honest with you, Jack, I've never heard a bad thing about that place or how it's run or people that have gone there. Matter of fact, all I hear is, even from people out of town, how much they enjoy it there. The tranquility of being able to sit and have lunch out on a nice day, the way it looks, the way you keep it. The volunteers, there's just, I mean, it's it's really become part of our community that we absolutely have to have in our community, and I'm glad it's there. So you guys do a great job. So pat yourself on the back, or get Mavis to pat you on the back,
Can't
or
reach.
give you a good swift kick, but whatever. But no, appreciate all the work you guys do, and I know you guys take it personally, and I always see somebody in there doing something, and it looks magnificent. Matter of fact, some of my friends that are coming to town want to go strictly to the Bailey House and have a look because they want to go inside that old house because they heard it was haunted at one point in time, but they still want to go in. But no, you guys do an amazing job. So council is very appreciative of the hard work and how that makes our community look. So thank you very much.
I'll pass that on to the board. Thank you very
Thank
much. No other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. As long as you guys keep having free ice cream, we're good to go. So we have a motion. Questions have been asked. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you again for their year-end report. Appreciate it. Notices of motion, besides the one I just read. No notices of motion. Reports from council. Oh, look at that. Paul's straight to the gate. Probably. Never know.
Okay, Friday, January 12th was the coldest night of the year. I did work till midnight at the detachment, and I decided to drop in at the cold weather shelter just to talk to the staff there. And there were 8 individuals sleeping, safe, warm, quiet. And just wanted to say it really warmed my heart to see. So I know there's been a bit of flack of where it was located, but I think it's a good thing. So Tuesday, January 16th, I attended the Country Music Hall of Fame to listen to Merritt. It was a question and answer with the public, and it was very well done. And Merritt did a great job. It was a good turnout, actually more than the last time. So the last time they had an event there. So it was really good, and good job, Mayor.
Thank you. Well, here's a little bit of information for you. Next year, we're all doing it. So
okay.
All council will be there for it next year. No, we feel that all council should be there. So.
And Thursday, January 18th, I attended a retirement party for Corporal Rick Aird, retiring 28 years with RCMP. He spent the last 10 years here. He was the First Nations corporal, so he worked with all the bands in the area. So I went and attended that, and good job. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go. Of course, January 16th, I had the meet the mayor situation, and I really enjoyed it. 3 hours went by very quickly. I want to thank the chamber for setting that all up, having the great Valley Grays boxes there that everybody looks forward to. I had some great questions. One thing about our community is we have some very passionate and people who are asking the right questions. We covered everything that we cover all the time, and I really appreciate the honesty that was there from the people, and the respect for everybody that were asking questions. Nobody was interrupted, and it really went well. So like I say, next year it'll be all of us doing it, so that'll be enjoyable. January 17th to 19th, I went to the TNRD for 3 days. It's kind of a kickoff of some new stuff there as well. Very extensive, and I know some people are a little bit concerned about our snow removal and how things are going. But I'll be honest with you, I was stuck there for 15 hours because I couldn't get out of Victoria Street because they hadn't plowed it in 2 days. And then when I finally did get out, I couldn't get up any of the hills because they hadn't been plowed yet 2 days later. So this is something that everybody deals with. But and then I just had general meetings with people. I went to the cold weather shelter 3 mornings in a row. There was a little bit of a discrepancy of what was going on, so I did a live show with CBC at 7 o'clock in the morning to let people know, because there was some bad information on the internet that it wasn't open, and I didn't want somebody freezing out there. Talk to the staff. Staff are very knowledgeable. They know what they're doing. There hasn't been a single incident since they've opened. And again, I'm with Paul. I'm very glad. Not only was it people in the beds when I went there, the first night was 10, second night was 12. And a lot of people with animals were in there because their dogs are traveling with their dogs. A lot of them are not from here. They're on their way through, and it got cold, and they managed to take refuge here. And I know there's some people that are upset about where it is, but I live less than 100 feet away from it. I have no problems with it being there. And I don't think any of us want to be part of a community that lets somebody die on their street because you don't like where they are. It's just too bad. And here's the people that, you know, if you're not happy with it, or some people think we didn't act fast enough, get in your car, drive around, pick 4 or 5 of them up, take them back to your house if you're so concerned. So I'm a little tired of, every time we do something, we get kicked in the teeth. So I appreciate what we did for the cold weather shelter, and we'll continue to do it, whether you like it or you don't. It's just the way it is. Gas Buddy. So here we go. Kamloops, today, the cheapest was $1.44.9. The most expensive was $1.52.9. Kelowna, $1.49.9, $1.53.9. Princeton has one gas station, $1.55.9. Vancouver, $1.64.9, high of $1.65. Merritt, $1.44.9, and a high of $1.52. So that's the Gas Buddy thing. I get a charge out of doing that. So. Yeah. Councilor Egan.
Thank you. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to the Meet the Mayor because I had my wine tasting that night, where we entertained about 80 local people, who some of which had gone to the Meet the Mayor. But what I was wondering is, what did you find was the general consensus of concerns?
Water. Water retention, water usage. Do we have enough water to cover new situations like 286? That was the main thing, and wildfire. That was the main two things that people are very concerned about. Overall, I think most of them were happy, but water was the main thing. Water in the ground, water above the ground. And I assured them that we move on to what the provincial does, that the first time we've ever hit level 5, and we'll continue to look after our water as we move on, because it's very important to the community. You know, we are talking about changing our planting of flowers to native stuff. So we're looking at that as well. So as a city, so we have to lead by example, and that's what we're going to be looking at, is making changes in how much water usage we have. We'll continue to follow the provincial situation. If they go to level 5, we go to level 5. And yeah, talked about, but water was the biggest concern for everybody, was water. Yeah.
The other thing that I was supposed to go to, but I couldn't because I was doing my, I was bookkeeping. I had a computer crash where I was supposed to go to the chamber meeting last Thursday, but I did find out, and again, I'll mention that they're having a gala in May. I believe it's the May long weekend, and they're going to be focusing on businesses, past and present, and possibly future, which I think is great for the community. And I will be forming a downtown business group for any businesses that are interested to provide an economic development plan for the future of the downtown, considering 286 is up and coming. If you're interested, please get a hold of me. You'll find my email is on the city website. Thank you.
That's Richard.
Well, I did not go to your event because ESS ended up having it the same night.
That's important.
And so they had a training session there where we were getting more familiar with the online system instead of the old paper method that was used during the flood and not popular with most. So that's why I didn't go. Otherwise I would have been there. And trying to keep, you know, helping, you know, some neighbors shoveling a little bit. Quite cold out there, so I was worried that stuff would get frozen. So, you know, it's a mess out there, but I think it's going to melt, and it's nice to see a little bit of snow because I'm really worried about drought this year, as I think everyone in town is. So, pretty quiet week, but hopefully it's warming up.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Olgan? Oh, delayed. It's frozen. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Information items. We have communications from the Department Annual Review, letter from the Ministry of Mental Health and Addictions, letter from Heritage BC regarding Heritage Week, Council Resolution List, 2024 UBCM Housing Summit, and letter from the Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General. Anybody have any queries or questions on those of any kind? No? Oh, Councillor Richard.
Are we planning on sending anybody to the summit?
We'll talk about that later.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Closed session. Recommendation that the meeting be closed to press and public under Section 91C, Labor Relations or Other Employee Relations of the Community Charter. Can I get a Councillor Richard? Councillor Charney? Those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Well, so let's take 5 minutes and let's go into closed.